Welcome back to the deep dive. You've shared another fascinating stack of sources with us, and today I think we're making a pretty crucial pivot.
We really are. We're sort of shifting gears.
Yeah, we're moving past the deep, the internal philosophical work we did in those initial steps.
All that foundational identity work.
Exactly. And now we are building the first concrete structural layer of your financial future.
That's right. For anyone who's been following this blueprint, we've been deep in what the strategy calls stage one. Identity, vision, and control.
Right.
We've gone through defining your identity as the asset owner, clarifying your vision, getting cash flow stable, and just recently, building that basic saving habit.
So the mental operating system is installed. The mission is defined. Now it's time to pour the foundation.
Yes.
And this deep dive is laser focused on what the sources say is the next non-negotiable step, establishing the emergency fund.
This is all about financial protection. About stability. You have to do this before you can rationally attempt any significant growth.
And this whole structured path, this idea that you have to move from internal alignment to external resilience, it all comes from one place.
It does. It comes directly from Tamir Khaham, the former systems engineer who is the originator of the three-stage strategy for building financial independence.
Yep.
He didn't design this as advice, really. It's more of an architectural plan.
An architectural plan. I like that. And as we jump into this, which is a topic so many people skip because they want to get to the
exciting parts.
Yeah. We have to confront this core truth, which is captured perfectly in this mandatory insight from the source material.
It asks a couple of very direct questions. First, do you really understand what it means to put money aside for a rainy day? And then, maybe more to the point, and even if you do have you actually set money aside for emergencies.
That quote is fascinating because it hits on both knowledge and execution. Why do you think so many people get the what but completely fail on the how? They know they need it, but they still throw money at a volatile stock instead.
Well, because it requires a really difficult mindset shift. It's not fun. We're moving from the excitement of potential returns to the dull reality of risk mitigation.
It's defense, not offense.
It's pure defense. The asset owner gets that securing the perimeter is priority number one. Financial independence, or FI, is fundamentally a condition built on protection, stability, and resilience. Growth, investing, leverage, that all comes later. You have to secure the base first.
Let's dig into that mental trick people play on themselves, this idea that they're immune to risk. Job loss, a medical bill, a furnace blowing up. That's something that happens to other people.
And that, according to Kaham's sources, is the critical failure point, a catastrophic one. Emergencies are not a question of if. They're a question of when.
When, not if.
Exactly. So operating your financial life without acknowledging that inevitability, it's just based on a dangerous assumption. It's that short-sighted survivor thinking we talked about before.
Right. The survivor narrative is always, can I get by this month? But the asset owner narrative has to be, how do I build a fortress around the capital I'm trying to create?
Precisely. And the risk is just massive. One unexpected emergency, just one major disruption, can instantly erase years of hard work.
All that saving, gone.
Gone. Any small gains you might have made in investing, gone. And it forces you right back into that reactive panic mindset.
And what's the first thing you do when a crisis hits without that buffer? You're forced to sell assets, probably at a loss.
Or worse. You take on high-interest debt just to manage a crisis you really should have insulated yourself from in the first place.
That's the core vulnerability, then.
It is. The asset owner recognizes that protecting existing capital and cash flow is the prerequisite. It comes before everything else. The goal here is to make your finances robust enough to absorb the normal shocks of life without having to break your entire strategy.
Okay, so that's the philosophy. It's a necessity. Let's get tangible, though. What specifically is the emergency fund? Because it needs to be very different from just general savings.
It needs a singular, rigid definition. The EF is a dedicated safety net. Its only purpose is to protect you against an unexpected financial catastrophe. It's purely defensive.
And the sources are really, really clear on what it is not.
Yes, very clear.
It is absolutely not a regular saving fund. You don't tap into it for a holiday or a new car.
And it is emphatically not an investment. You cannot treat this money as a tool for optimization or growth. Don't worry about the return on this cash.
So its job is just to be there.
Its function is pure stability and liquidity. When disaster strikes, that money is the buffer. It creates the fundamental difference between a disruption and a total financial collapse. Think of it as your primary firewall.
That makes perfect sense. Your furnace dies in January, the EF handles the 6 grand for the repair, and your actual investments stay put. They just keep doing their thing.
Exactly.
But without the EF, you'd be liquidating stocks or, like you said, ripping a hole in your long-term plan with a credit card.
And that brings us to the key practical point, liquidity. The notes really emphasize this. Because the EF exists for immediate protection, it has to be instantly accessible.
Okay.
If it takes 3 days to liquidate, or if it's exposed to the market going up and down, it's failing at its main job. It has to be somewhere safe, stable, and ready to go.
Wait, I can hear people asking, for someone just starting out, keeping 3 months of expenses in cash that's earning nothing, that feels like a huge opportunity cost. How does the strategy get you past that pain of holding dead money?
That's the universal hurdle, you're right. The strategy answers it by completely reframing the value proposition. That money isn't dead.
Okay.
It's paying the premium on your peace of mind insurance. The return on investment for the emergency fund isn't a percentage gain. The return is the preservation of your future investment capital. It shields everything else.
I like that. It's not dead money, it's guard money. It's protecting the rest of the army.
That's a great way to think about it. And the practical guideline, straight from the source material, is that the EF needs to cover at least 3 months of your household expenses.
3 months, that's a tangible goal. But why that number specifically? Why 3?
Well, 3 months is generally seen as the minimum time buffer needed to recover from life's most common big emergencies. You lose your job, for example. 3 months gives you breathing room to find a good new job, not just the first one that comes along.
So you're not making decisions out of panic.
You're making strategic decisions. It's enough to cover high deductibles on insurance, home, or medical. It buys you time. That's what it is. It's a security layer.
So it's not just a number, it's a unit of time. It's 3 months of freedom to make good choices.
Precisely.
And strategically, on this whole roadmap, the emergency fund is positioned as the second most important form of saving, right? Second only to building the initial habit of saving in the first place.
That's right. The required action here is crystal clear. Building an emergency fund must begin deliberately and progressively as the very next mandatory step. This is step 7, and it's what kicks off stage 2, building financial resilience.
Okay, so we've got the why, the when, not if of emergencies, and the what a liquid dedicated safety net. Before we get to what this really unlocks for you, the listener, I think this is the perfect moment to pause and just clarify the spirit of this whole strategy.
Yes, it's necessary context. At this point, it's really important to pause and clarify something essential. This episode is not about financial techniques and not about optimization or investing. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice.
Right.
What we're doing here is protection. We are building stability before we even think about growth. And it's important to say this very clearly. Just because this approach worked for the creator of this strategy does not mean it will work for you. There are no guarantees.
It's a framework.
This is a thinking framework. Responsibility for decisions and outcomes always remains with you, the listener.
Thank you. That clarification really anchors us in what this is. A strategic blueprint, not a list of tips. It's about removing risk, step by step.
So let's bring this all back to the big picture for the asset owner. The emergency fund secures your base. And when you secure the base, you achieve real financial stability.
That stability is the platform.
It is the necessary platform for all the ambitious growth steps you'll take later in stage 3. Without this shield, any returns you generate from investing are just perpetually vulnerable to whatever life throws at you next.
It's truly resilience before growth. You have to stop the leaks before you try to fill the bucket.
And this step, this foundational step, it sets the tone for the rest of stage 2, resilience. We're not done with protection yet. The sources detail the layers that come next, managing and getting rid of bad debts, automating your money flow, and then implementing real risk management things like insurance and legal planning.
A complete firewall.
Exactly.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you to mull over. Just consider the powerful relationship between security and ambition.
It's a crucial link. Once your foundation, your emergency fund, is securely in place, you are psychologically free to pursue higher risk, higher reward assets and strategies later on.
You're decoupling your stability from your growth efforts.
Yes, you can deploy capital for massive potential gains, knowing that if that high-risk investment fails completely, it won't destroy your life. Your core financial structure is protected by that buffer.
Just think about that freedom for a second. The knowledge that your family's basic needs are covered for 3 solid months no matter what happens to your job or your investments.
So ask yourself, What areas of your current financial life are still vulnerable to that when not if reality of emergencies? And think about how starting this EF, deliberately and progressively, is the only real way to move from the mindset of a survivor to a strategic asset owner who has built true stability.
In our next deep dives, we're going to continue with stage 2. We'll be focusing on the next sequential step after the emergency fund, managing and eliminating bad debts. Another crucial step to free up and protect your cash flow.
We look forward to diving into those sources with you next time.
Join us then!